Okay, so the Beehive setup that I got, you can buy them assembled or unassembled. The unassembled ones are a little bit cheaper. You just have to do the work. I'm okay with that. I love building and putting stuff together, taking it apart. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But for Christmas, my wife saw that I had kind of gained some interest from the Homesteaders of America, and she went ahead and got me one. So this brand was just one that she picked out. We're not getting sponsored or anything by these people, so if you find something else that's similar or better, go for it, something local, whatever. You could build your own. I know that on some of the other homesteading YouTube videos, like the Off-Grid with Doug and Stacy, that they have a guy on there that's like a bee professor type, but if he can do it, you can build horizontal hives. This is actually a Langstroth hive, so it is a vertical hive, and it's going to have frames in it, but I'll show you kind of what it is. So there's deep boxes. They hold these little inserts in the tray. They're all beeswax coated, so that's for one of the deep boxes. I've already have one built. I'll show you guys that a little bit later, but it's got the big ones for the deeps. This is for the honey, and they could be considered a medium box. There's this screen. Queen excluder is what that is. You just pretty much put it on the top of one of your boxes where the queen is located, and then she won't go up. She can't fit through these to get up and then lay eggs in your honey. Then it's just got a top, like a lid to the box, and this is actually the top of the box, or the lid. So and I'm new to this, so the terminology may not be correct, and you'll have to bear with me on that. I'm going to be learning, and honestly what I'm doing is I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm going to go back to the notes that I have from my workshop at the Honeystead, and I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to be asking questions of people that I know that are keeping bees or have kept bees, and I mean that's how we all learn, right? It's just by somebody else's experience. So these are the sidebars for the frames. I'm going to show you guys how I put those together. Here's the actual box, and I'll put this together. And pretty much Hoover Hives is the brand that we got. It's all cedar wood. It's beeswax coated, so it's going to last in the weather and just hold up over time really, really well from what the reviews and everything says. And I mean, it seems well built. The only downfall that I found with these so far was that it's so thick with beeswax that some of these slots and grooves, I actually had to take like a razor or box blade and cut some of the extra wax out, because it was so tight when I was hammering them together with a mallet that it started splitting one of them. It didn't split so bad that it wasn't sound and wasn't going to work, but I don't want to do that. I want it to fit tight, but I don't want it so tight that I'm going to cause damage to it. So they've got two sides, and they all got handles in them for you to grab onto. When I opened the box, it was awesome. If you like the smell of beeswax, some people may not, that's all I could smell. So it was awesome to have that. Then they have the top rails for the frames and the bottom rails, which are these thinner ones, and they've got little grooves in them for those the bases, the wax bases. So I'm going to show you guys this jig that I built to kind of help me with this. It's not actually that great of a jig. I'm off on some of my measurements, but it does work for now, because all I have to put together is this one hive set. So it's a total of 3 of these boxes with 10 frames in each, so it's just 30 frames, and it honestly cuts down the time a little bit. And eventually, if I get more hives and need to do this more often, I will build an exact jig so that it works every time, and keep that on standby for when I need to do this, because putting them together one at a time, it's probably a little bit slower. Maybe not much, but for me, I watched a YouTube video on how to build a jig, built one out of some of the scrap wood that I had here, and it seemed to work just fine for me. So I think as far as that goes, that's a good explanation for where I'm at. So I'm going to put it on time lapse, try to get this going, and I'll get this box together. Okay, so here it is. Here's one of the bottom boxes for the Beehive. It's called the brood box, and pretty much it's just where the queen will lay eggs for the certain types of bees that will be needed to make the colony strong. The brood are the males, and there are nurse bees, there's worker bees, there's all kinds of different stuff that I'm learning about now. And like I said, if I use the incorrect terminology, forgive me, I'm a beginner beekeeper. So, but I know this is one of the bases, and so it will set like this, and then vertically you'll be able to pull these out. Here's the frames. Now, I don't know if you guys caught it in the time lapse. I'm using some Gorilla Glue here. It had a cap of glue dried in the top, so I went to try to use it on my first couple of frames, and it wasn't working. I had to scratch that out with a screw over here. So, I mean, you guys have probably seen those before, where it's just a skin of glue that doesn't allow you to glue. So check that. But I was always told by multiple people to glue your frames, because when the bees get in here and start putting wax and everything, they propolis or put propolis on anything that has seals or openings that they want sealed up, and it's super sticky. So when you go to crack open these hives, you're going to be wedging against this wood, and like these frames here, you're going to have to actually pry them up. So this top bar here, this portion here, definitely needs to be glued good and secured, because you're going to be prying on that. And of course, if you got this full of like honey or maybe beeswax with eggs and larvae and all that good stuff in it, you don't want to break this off and then have to try to figure out how to fix this while there's bees and comb on here. So anyways, I think I did a pretty good job. Everything should be glued and stapled. It seems to be. I checked the square on it. All the frames are going in and out good. That's part of why I use that jig. It's really just to stand these sidebars straight up and down so I can get these on. And that box doesn't work real well because these are slimmer down here and then get wider. And so I can't flip it over once I put the top bar on and just slide that frame down around this. So I just need to make it a little bit bigger for that portion. But for right now, this is going to work. Like I said, this didn't take me very long. I'm guessing probably about 30-45 minutes tops to get the box hammered together and the frames. And I think my little trick of trimming some of the excessive beeswax off helped me a little bit, because this one definitely went a little bit easier than the first one, and I didn't notice any significant splits on it. I can show you guys, like, maybe you'll be able to pick that up, but there's like a little split there in the wood, and to me that's not a big deal. That's not a deal breaker on the hive. So far I'm happy with how they built it and everything, and I've got their little stamp on it, so I'll be advertising. And if it doesn't work well, then I'll find another company or something to go with if I buy more hives. But so far this seems to be good. It seems very sturdy and well put together because I did it. And not that they wouldn't. If you bought this pre-assembled, hey, go for it. If you don't feel like putting in that work and you got a couple extra dollars to spend on somebody else doing it for you, by all means do it. I know there's some things that I pay for to have done for me, and some things I would rather do myself. This is just one of those things. I wanted my hands on it. I wanted to do it. Saved a little bit of money because I had other stuff I had to buy. I had to buy a bee suit. I had to buy bee working equipment, which comes with like the smoker and the brushes and the tools. So I was just trying to pinch a little bit of money here and there wherever I could. And you'll notice that I guess I am that type of person. I would much rather have my hands in it doing it than just kind of pass the buck and let someone else do it for me, because I work pretty hard for my bucks and I like keeping them as close to me as possible. But and money ain't everything, but if I can do it myself, I'm gonna definitely do it. So here's one of the boxes. I'm gonna try to get the other one put together too, and then like I said, my goal for today was roast some coffee and all that. And I'm going to be trying to catch you guys up on some of the videos that we unfortunately lost. I had to take you guys out maybe on another day and show you my wife and my stepmother went out and planted our orchard, or at least portion of it. We got some large, I think we got peach, pear, plum, and apple trees out there, and they're planted. They seem to be doing good. We're also gonna get a little dwarf orchard going too, because those fruit a little bit sooner. The bigger trees will fruit longer and, you know, be hardier. One of the most recent storms we had some really high winds and actually took out a big dominant branch in our old grandpa apple tree out there. So I'm gonna have some good wood to smoke some meats with, and a little bit of tree work to do around the property. Actually, I got a lot of tree work to do, probably more than I'll get to this year, but we're gonna definitely use wood around here with this wood burning stove I'm working on, and we just like bonfires and all that stuff too. So but let me get this set down. I'll kind of see what I need to do to get this other portion started, and I'm gonna try to get all that done today. So Okay, so I brought in the first box that I assembled on those videos we've been talking about that got unfortunately deleted. This is it. So it's the same thing as the one you guys saw. It's got these black bases on them. They're all wax coated. This is plastic, and I guess why they have the black bases in the bottoms is it's where the queen is going to be laying her larvae and her eggs, and they're kind of like really, really small granules of rice. And in order to see those when that comb is built out, it's better to have a black backdrop, or it's easier, I guess. I have yet to have a beehive, so I don't really know how all that's going to go, but I have seen pictures of what it looks like, and it's just a small, fine, almost seed-like, rice-shaped white speck in the bottom of one of these, and that's how you know your queen is doing what she's supposed to be doing, which is laying eggs and creating more of the colony to continue to thrive and grow, create honey, and hopefully be good for years to come. So this I assembled. What I did not assemble was this base. So this came pre-assembled. There's a small opening here, and that's to keep mice from getting in there, and there's also a little screen I'm going to put on, which I thought was pretty cool, because this little screen, it's going to attach to the bottom base, but bees can get in and out of this here, but what they can't get in and out of is this vent. So if I ever need to put this vent on, it'll give them air to be able to breathe and everything and not get super irritated, but they won't be able to get out. So if I need to transport them, which I'm going to have to do to get them from my friend Bill to here, so I'm going to put this on that bottom box and have this ready to go so I can use it. But I haven't seen this on everyone's hives. A lot of times it's just a piece of wood like this. And let me put the box back on to show you. Like I said, I'm a beginner, so this will be a beginner's lesson. So pretty much you can flip this. Yeah, it's got the grooves in it, and it allows the bees to go in and out in different spots. Okay, and then if you flip it, it will limit what can be accessed. Like this makes it a really small access, as opposed to this one over here being really big. Okay, so just different times of year you'll want different things. So this, I guess a mouse could get up in there, but it's definitely not gonna get up in there. So I'll probably put this on before I go do that, and then that could go in front however it is supposed to work. So that's one thing, this hive did not come with instructions. So if you hadn't had any previous knowledge on how any of this stuff goes, you could probably figure it out, but it's something you may want to watch some videos and learn how to do it if your hive doesn't come assembled, or if you haven't really seen any of this before. So yeah, I think it's pretty much done. I'm gonna get a couple of the nails that came in this kit, put them on here, and then I think it's gonna be pretty much done. One thing I did see on a video of this particular hive is that I need to scrape off some of the excess beeswax on this, because the tighter it is sealed here, the better off, because the bees are going to want to propolize it anyways, but not to have an extra bunch of built up beeswax there. So I guess I can do that now, and then I'll go ahead and stack this up. And I'm not going to take all of it off. If it's extra and it's chunky, I've been kind of putting it to the side here and saving it. I don't know if it will get used for anything, but I know beeswax is good for candles and I mean lots of other stuff, but okay. I think that one's good. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys real quick what it's gonna look like once it's stacked. So you got 2 deep boxes, 1 2 deep, and like I said, this has the same inserts as the rest. And then you get this one here, which is a little bit smaller, and that's going to be your honey. What they call it is a honey super, and it's the portion where you're going to want the honey to be stored. They may store it down lower too, but the queen excluder would actually go in between these 2 boxes, or even down a little bit lower depending on how big the colony is, you know. So let's say it's down here for now. We'll just put that in there. And as you tell, this is going to be heavy after a while. So well, that's one thing I've heard about beekeeping, is that if you got a bad back or joints or anything and can't really lift a lot, or your restrictions are a little bit lower, then maybe look into the horizontal hives. I haven't had any serious back issues in a while. I mean, occasionally, like I'm sure most people, it'll get out of place and have to go get it adjusted here and there, but overall good. Now this is just a top lid, so that when you pull this actual lid here off, there's still something kind of preventing you from being right on top of the bees, and then you can put a little smoke in there, calm them down. But all in all, voila, that's it. That's my beehive. So there is one other thing in there that they have, and I'm not really sure where this goes. I'm assuming it goes in this top lid portion, and I think pretty much what it is it allows bees to go one way, like, so they could go, see how there's like a little triangle portion there? It kind of funnels them where they can go up here and push their way out, those little inserts, but they can't go back in. So I'm assuming, and I don't know this because like I said, but I'm assuming it maybe goes on top of there. I'll have to look it up and see, because that's something I'm not 100% sure of, if that goes maybe inside this slot here and just kind of inserts there. Honestly, that looks like it fits right there, so maybe that they can go up and get out this lid, but they're mostly covered. I'm gonna leave it there because that looks like a good enough spot for me. I'll do a little bit more research on it and see what that looks like. And I think there's a little groove over here on this side. I'm assuming that goes down towards the hive so that they can access it. Yeah. So, all in all, that's it, guys. Thanks for keeping up with me on this one. As I remember content that we lost or as we're rolling, if you're a little bit lost, just hit us up in the comment and we'll maybe explain a little bit of what's going on. But